The first scream was not the baby's, it was the midwife's. Because when the child slipped into her hands, the midwife saw the eyes. One brown like fertile soil, one gray like a sky before a deadly storm. Outside, a leopard cried exactly 7 times the number of death. The village drummers felt their hands freeze. Pregnant women grabbed their bellies and fell silent. Then the baby laughed. A newborn does not laugh. But this one did. Baba Osei, the village elder, tore his robe. Kill it now. The prophecy says a 2-eyed child will destroy every chief from the Niger to the sea. The mother, Adama, ripped the baby from the midwife's arms. You will not touch her. Baba Osei raised his staff. Then you die with her. Torches lit the night. 20 men grabbed their machetes. Adama ran. She ran into the darkness where the leopard still cried. Adama hid inside a hollow baobab tree. The baby did not cry. She stared at her mother with those strange eyes, calm as a deep river. The men passed so close that Adama smelled the palm wine on their breath. One man stopped. He peed on the tree trunk. Adama held her breath. The baby smiled. The men walked away. When the last torch vanished, Adama crawled out. She walked for 7 days. She ate wild mangoes and drank from puddles. On the 8th day, she reached a hut of a wise woman named Dede. Adama wrapped the baby in her own headscarf. She placed a bundle on the doorstep. She knocked 3 times the knock of a desperate heart. Then she ran into the forest. Here I am, she screamed. The men caught her. They dragged her back. But the baby was already in Dede's arms. Dede opened the cloth and gasped. 2 colored eyes. She had heard the prophecy. She had also seen too much evil done in fear's name. You are no demon, she whispered to the baby. You are a seed. Seeds crack open before they grow. She named the child Amara, which means grace. Amara grew faster than any child Dede had seen. At 6 months, she sat up and pointed to the sky. At 1 year, she spoke her first word. Love. The village children threw stones at her. Demon eyes. They screamed. Amara would wipe the blood and say nothing. One day, a stone split her forehead. Dede cleaned the wound with tears. Why don't you fight back? Amara looked at her with those strange eyes. Because they act from fear. Fear makes people blind. I will not be blind. When Amara was 7, a dying soldier crawled to Dede's hut. His stomach was split open. The king is dead, he coughed. His 3 daughters fight for the throne. The kingdom is tearing apart. Villages burn. Children starve. He died before sunrise. Amara watched Dede bury him. I must go to the capital, Amara said. Dede grabbed her arm. You are 7. They will kill you. Amara shook her head. No, because I carry something they need. Truth. And truth is sharper than any sword. Dede saw something in the child's face, of fire that could not be put out. She packed dried fish, ground nuts, and a small leather pouch of herbs. Then go. But remember, evil prospers when good people do nothing. Amara kissed Dede's wrinkled cheek. She walked toward the capital city of Wagadu. Behind her, the sun rose like a burning eye. The road to Wagadu was long and dangerous. On the 2nd day, 3 bandits jumped out from behind a dead acacia tree. Their knives were stained with old blood. Their eyes held no hope. Give us everything or die, the leader growled. Amara did not run. She looked at each man with her 2-colored eyes. You were not always thieves, she said. You were farmers. But the war took your fields. The princesses forgot your names. Now you hurt the weak because you feel weak yourselves. The leader's knife trembled. How do you know this? Amara reached into her bag. She gave them all her food. Go home. Your wives are praying for you. The leader dropped his knife. Tears cut tracks through the dust on his cheeks. Who are you, child? Amara smiled. I am the one who will stop this war. When Amara reached Wagadu, she found a city of ghosts. Empty market stalls. Children with bellies swollen like drums. Old men sitting in their own waste. The palace gates were guarded by soldiers who had not slept in days. State your business, girl, one yawned. Amara stepped forward. Take me to the 3 princesses. I have a message that will save this kingdom. The soldier laughed until he saw her eyes. One brown, one gray. His face turned the color of old milk. Demon child. He raised his spear. Amara did not flinch. Kill me and your kingdom falls within a fortnight. The northern army is 2 days away. They will attack the eastern gate at dawn. Check the hills. You will see their campfires smoke. The soldier lowered his spear. He sent a runner. The runner returned pale. The girl speaks truth. The throne room was cold and dark. 3 women sat on 3 chairs, each facing a different direction. They would not look at each other. Princess Ama wore a golden crown and a face like thunder. Princess Fu sharpened a dagger. Princess Adwoa stared at the floor like it held all her tears. Speak quickly, child, Ama said. We have no time for games. Amara walked to the center of the room. You fight over a chair while your people die. The northern army will attack in 2 days. Together, you can defeat them. Apart, you will all die. And your names will be eaten by rats. Fu laughed bitterly. Why should we trust a strange girl with demon eyes? Amara touched her gray eye. Because I have nothing to gain from lying. I am not a princess. I do not want your throne. I only want peace. Adwoa looked up. Her eyes were red from crying. I believe her. That night, Amara drew maps in the dirt with a stick. She showed the princesses where the northern army would cross the river. The crossing is narrow here, she said, pointing. Let half of them cross. Then release the logs we hide upstream. The current will sweep them away. The other half will flee when they see their brothers drowning. Amma narrowed her eyes. You are only 7. How do you know battle strategy? Amara thought of Dede's stories. Wisdom does not come from age. It comes from listening to the land, the water, and the wind. And from the one who made them. The 3 princesses looked at each other. For the first time in months, they agreed. They combined their armies. They sharpened their spears. And they gave Amara a seat at the war council. The generals grumbled, but the princesses said, listen to her. The morning of the battle, fog covered the river like a white funeral cloth. Amara stood on a hill with Princess Adwoa. Below them, the northern army crossed the water. 500 men, then 1,000, then 2,000. Now, Adwoa whispered, her hand shaking on the signal horn. Wait, Amara said. More men crossed. 3,000, 4,000. Adwoa's heart pounded so loud she thought the enemy could hear it. Now! Amara watched the last northern soldier step onto the bank. Now! Adwoa blew the horn. Soldiers upstream cut the ropes. Hundreds of heavy logs crashed into the river. The logs smashed into the northern soldiers like angry gods. Men screamed. Water turned red. The northern army broke and ran. Wagadu's soldiers chased them for miles. When the battle ended, the princesses had won. Amma grabbed Amara and lifted her into the air. You saved us! The kingdom celebrated for 7 days. Drums beat until dawn. Palm wine flowed like rain. But Amara did not celebrate. She sat alone on the palace roof, looking at the stars. Why me? She whispered. A wind answered, soft as a mother's breath. Because you chose love over hate. That is rare. The next morning, Amara asked to visit the village where she was born. I need to find my mother, she told Princess Adwoa. Adwoa provided horses and guards. They rode for 2 days. When Amara reached the village, she barely recognized it. Half the huts were empty. The sacred tree where they beat her mother was now dead and black. She found Baba Osei sitting alone. He was blind now, and his hands shook like dry leaves. I am the child you tried to kill, Amara said. Baba Osei wept. Kill me if you must. Baba Osei cried. I deserve it. Amara knelt beside him. I did not come for revenge. I came for my mother. Where is she? Baba Osei pointed to a small hut at the edge of the village. She lives there, but she has not spoken a word in 7 years. She just sits and stares at the road. Amara walked to the hut. Her legs felt like water. She pushed open the door. Inside sat a woman with gray hair and hollow cheeks. Adama rocked back and forth, humming a song that had no melody. Her eyes were open but saw nothing. Amara knelt before her. Mother, it's me. Amara, I came back. Adama did not respond. She just kept humming. Amara pulled out the headscarf that had wrapped her as a baby. She placed it in Adama's hands. Adama's fingers touched the cloth. Her humming stopped. A tear slid down her hollow cheek. My baby, she whispered. Is it really you? Amara cried and held her mother. Yes, I am alive. I am safe. And I am never leaving you again. Outside, the guards wiped their eyes. The sun broke through the clouds for the first time in 7 years. Amara brought her mother back to the palace. The healers said Adama might never fully recover, but Amara did not give up. She sat with her mother every evening. She told her about Dede, about the bandits, about the battle. Slowly, Adama began to speak again. One word, then two, then a sentence. Your father was a good man, Adama said one night. He died before you were born. But he would be so proud. Meanwhile, the palace priest, a bitter man named Kofi, watched Amara with jealous eyes. This girl has too much power, he whispered to his followers. She will destroy us all. Kofi searched the royal library for 3 nights. Finally, he found the ancient scroll that held the original prophecy. He read it by candlelight. His hands trembled. The prophecy did not say the two-eyed child would destroy the kingdom. It said, the child with eyes of 2 colors will break the chains of old ways. The proud will become humble. The last will become first. Kofi had lied. He and his ancestors had twisted the prophecy because they feared losing power. Now his secret was a burning coal. If anyone found out, he would be executed. So Kofi decided to destroy Amara first. Kofi went to Princess Amma, who loved power more than peace. The girl plans to crown herself queen, he whispered. I have proof. Amma believed him because she wanted to believe him. That night, guards arrested Amara and threw her into the dungeon. The cell was dark and wet. Rats crawled over her feet. But Amara did not scream or cry. She sat in the darkness and remembered a truth Dede had taught her. Light always defeats darkness, but only if you refuse to give up. Amara closed her eyes and prayed. Not with fancy words, just a simple cry from her heart. Help me. Then she opened her eyes and made a plan. She called the guard. Tell Princess Adwoa that I know who ate her favorite goat when she was a child. The guard laughed. That is foolishness, Amara smiled. Tell her anyway. The guard hesitated but went. Within an hour, Adwoa stormed into the dungeon. Who ate my goat? Amara laughed. No one. But I knew you would come. Adwoa freed Amara and called an emergency meeting. Amma tried to lie, but Efua had already found witnesses. Kofi had paid them to spread false rumors. The guards dragged Kofi before the throne. His face was gray as ash. Why? Adwoa asked. Kofi spat on the floor. Because she is a child. Because she is a commoner. Because she reminds me that I am nothing but a liar dressed in priestly robes. Amma wanted Kofi executed. But Amara stood up. No, killing him will not heal anything. Let him walk through every village and confess his lie, Amara said. Let him tell the people the true prophecy. Kofi broke down sobbing. He agreed. For 3 months, he walked from village to village, crying and confessing. The people forgave him, but they never forgot Amara's mercy. News of Amara spread like harmattan wind. The people called her the child who sees truth. The princesses gave her a seat on the royal council. Amara built schools where girls could learn to read. She built hospitals where the sick could receive care without payment. She planted gardens along every road so no traveler would go hungry. Why do you help even your enemies? Princess Efua asked. Amara said, every person carries the image of the Creator. When I help them, I honor him. 3 years passed. Amara was now 10. The kingdom had known peace for 1,000 days. But one evening, a stranger arrived at the gates. He wore a mask of gold and carried no weapons. I am the spirit of the great river, he announced. I have come to test a child who changed a kingdom. If she passes, the kingdom will prosper for 1,000 years. If she fails, it will turn to dust. The people gasped. Amara walked out to meet him. What is the test? The stranger pointed to the river. It has stopped flowing. By sunrise, you must make it flow again. Everyone ran to the river. It was dry as bones. A giant boulder had fallen upstream, blocking all the water. The strongest men tried to move it. They could not. The people began to wail. Amara knelt and put her ear to the ground. She listened. She heard water trickling far below. She heard the groaning of the trapped river. Then she noticed small cracks in the boulder, cracks that heat and cold could widen. She stood up. Build a fire against the boulder. The biggest fire you have ever made. The people gathered wood for hours. The fire blazed so hot that everyone had to stand far back. When the boulder was red like a blacksmith's iron, Amara shouted, Bring water from the well. Pour it now. Hundreds of people threw water onto the red-hot rock. Crack! The boulder split into a dozen pieces. Water burst through like a wild animal freed from a cage. The river flowed again. The stranger removed his golden mask. He was smiling. You have passed the test, the stranger said. You used wisdom, not strength. You listened to the earth and to the creator who made it. He placed a golden seed in Amara's palm. Plant this. It will grow into a tree that bears fruit for 1,000 generations. Every fruit will heal one sickness. Every leaf will feed one hungry child. Your name will be sung by griots until the sun grows cold. Amara planted the seed in the wet soil. Within moments, a giant tree sprouted. It grew taller than any house. Its leaves shimmered like gold. Its fruit shone like stars. The people danced and sang until dawn. Amara looked at her mother, who was crying happy tears. She looked at the princesses who were hugging each other. She looked at the tree, and she whispered, "Thank you." The kingdom declared a new law. No child with unusual features would ever be harmed again. Every child is a gift, the law said. Fear does not excuse cruelty. Amara wrote the law herself with the help of Princess Adwoa. They called it the law of the open hand. Baba Osei, the old elder who had ordered Amara's death, crawled to the palace to beg forgiveness. Amara helped him stand. I forgave you long ago, she said. Now go in peace. Baba Osei wept and went home. That night, Amara climbed to the palace roof. She looked at the stars and thought of her journey. A baby marked for death. A mother who sacrificed everything. A wise woman who raised her. A kingdom that feared her but now loved her. Amara grew into a young woman. She never forgot Dede. Every month, she rode to the old hut with gifts of food and cloth. You are the mother of my heart, Amara told her. Dede laughed, showing her few remaining teeth. I just kept you alive. The creator did the rest. One day, Dede pulled Amara close. I am old now. Soon I will join the ancestors. But before I go, I want you to know something. Your mother Adama told me the truth. Your father was not a poor farmer. He was a prince from the southern kingdom. He died protecting your mother from assassins. Amara's mouth fell open. I have royal blood. Dede nodded. But that does not matter. What matters is your heart. Amara traveled to the southern kingdom to meet her father's family. The king there, her grandfather, was old and blind. When he heard Amara's voice, he cried out, You sound just like my son. He embraced her and welcomed her as a princess. But Amara did not stay to claim riches. She saw that the southern kingdom also had problems. Two princes were fighting over the throne. Amara sat the princes down. Your father is still alive. Why are you fighting over his chair before he is even cold? The princes looked ashamed. Amara taught them the same lesson. Rule together. Share the burden. A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. The princes agreed. They made Amara their official peacemaker. Amara spent the next 20 years traveling from kingdom to kingdom. She stopped wars. She fed the hungry. She freed prisoners. She told everyone the same truth. You were made to love, not to hate. You were made to build, not to destroy. Fear is a liar. Do not listen to it. Her two-colored eyes became a symbol of seeing both sides of every story. Kings and queens sought her advice. Poor farmers named their daughters after her. She never married, but she was mother to thousands. One night, an old enemy came to see her. It was Kofi, the priest who had lied about her. He was dying. Forgive me, he whispered. Amara held his hand. I forgave you the day you confessed. Now rest in peace. Kofi smiled and closed his eyes. Amara lived to be very old. Her hair turned white as cotton. Her face became a map of wrinkles. But her eyes went brown. One gray never lost their light. One evening, she called the three princesses' grandchildren to her bedside. I have one more lesson, she said. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against an army. It is against fear in your own heart. Fear will tell you to hate. Fear will tell you to hide. Fear will tell you that some people are cursed. Do not listen. Listen instead to love. Love sees no color in eyes. Love sees no curse in birth. Love sees the image of the Creator in every face. That is the truth that outlasts every kingdom. She closed her eyes and smiled. Amara died peacefully that night. The entire kingdom mourned for 40 days. But they also celebrated. They sang songs about the baby who was marked for death, the child who ran through the forest, the girl who faced bandits and princesses and spirits. They told stories about her wisdom, her kindness, and her strange, beautiful eyes. The golden tree she planted still stands today. Its fruit still shines like stars. And every child born with two different colored eyes is celebrated, not feared. Because Amara proved that what people call a curse is often a blessing in disguise. The proud become humble, the last become first, and a child shall lead them. That is the truth that never dies. That is the truth that changes everything.